Born on October 27, 1975, he spent his early years in Ohio before his family relocated to Colorado in 1987. Ralston pursued a diverse range of interests, studying mechanical engineering, French, and piano at Carnegie Mellon University. Afterward, he ventured to the Southwest to pursue a career as an engineer. However, after 5 years of feeling disconnected from the corporate environment, he made the bold decision to leave his job and focus entirely on his passion for mountaineering. His ultimate ambition was to conquer Denali, the tallest peak in North America. This would one day lead Aron Ralston to cut his arm. Welcome to Lucky Life. Today we are talking about Aron Ralston and his remarkable 127 hours in the Blue John Canyon. From the heights of Colorado's 14ers to the depths of a narrow slot canyon, Ralston's journey is marked by unwavering determination and unyielding resolve. But it's in the darkest hour, trapped beneath a massive boulder with no hope of rescue, that his true test begins. How does one summon the courage to make the ultimate sacrifice for survival? Well, let's get started. By 2002, Ralston had settled in Aspen, Colorado, where he dedicated himself entirely to climbing. His objective was to summit Colorado's 14ers solo, and during the winter months, a challenge that had yet to be documented. In February 2003, while backcountry skiing on Resolution Peak with 2 companions, Ralston faced a harrowing experience when an avalanche struck. Though they narrowly escaped serious injury, Ralston remained undeterred. Despite the incident on a day marked by severe avalanche warnings, he continued to push boundaries, often venturing into perilous terrain alone, driven by an unyielding spirit of exploration. In April 2003, Aron Ralston embarked on a solo canyoneering expedition through Blue John Canyon in eastern Wayne County, Utah, just south of the Horseshoe Canyon unit of Canyonlands National Park. Disaster struck during his descent through the narrow passages of the Slot Canyon when a large boulder became dislodged, crushing his left hand against the canyon wall and pinning his right hand. Unfortunately, Ralston hadn't informed anyone of his hiking plans, leaving him without a means to call for help. With limited resources and facing certain death if not rescued, he rationed his dwindling water supply, approximately 350 milliliters, and meager food, consisting of 2 burritos, over 5 agonizing days. Despite repeated attempts to free himself, including desperate efforts to move the massive 800 pounds, 360 kilograms, boulder, his trapped arm remained immobile. As his situation grew increasingly dire, Ralston made the gut-wrenching decision to amputate his trapped arm in a last-ditch effort to escape. However, lacking adequate tools to sever his bones, he faced the harsh reality of his predicament. With no hope of rescue and dwindling supplies, he resorted to drinking his urine and etched a farewell message into the canyon wall, preparing for what he believed would be his final moments. Yet, in a moment of delirium and desperation, he found a glimmer of hope, envisioning a future that spurred him to persevere against all odds. Upon waking at dawn the next day, Aron Ralston confronted a grim reality. His arm had started to decay due to the lack of blood flow, prompting a desperate decision. Realizing he needed to free himself, Ralston had a breakthrough moment. Instead of cutting through his bones, he devised a plan to break them using the leverage of his trapped arm. With determination driving him, he succeeded in fracturing both his ulna and radius. Armed with this new strategy, he set to work, utilizing a multi-tool to perform the grueling task of amputation. During the agonizing hour that followed, Ralston fashioned a makeshift tourniquet from tubing found in his Camelback water bottle, prioritizing the preservation of major arteries. Despite the pain and the odds stacked against him, he meticulously severed his flesh and tendons, using a dull knife and pliers for the tougher parts. Reflecting on the experience later, Ralston recounted how thoughts of a future family flooded his mind, providing a surge of resolve amidst the agony. As he faced the excruciating ordeal, he found solace in believing he was taking decisive action. In the end, he lost a quarter of his blood volume but gained a newfound sense of hope and determination. After freeing himself from the canyon's grip, Ralston faced the daunting task of navigating his way out. Scaling the canyon walls and descending a sheer 65-foot, 20 meters drop, he embarked on an exhausting hike, his only companions being the vast expanse of the wilderness and his resilience. With his vehicle 8 miles away and no means of communication, each step forward was a battle against time and the elements. Miraculously, after trekking approximately 6 miles, Ralston encountered an unexpected ray of hope from a vacationing family from the Netherlands. Eric, Monique Meijer, and their son Andy. Their timely assistance provided much-needed sustenance and a lifeline to alert authorities. Ralston, weakened from his ordeal, feared he might succumb to his injuries, having shed 40 pounds and a staggering 25% of his blood volume. Meanwhile, rescue efforts were underway, spurred by the alarm raised by Ralston's concerned family. Search teams narrowed their focus to the Canyonlands area, eventually spotting Ralston from the air. Approximately 4 hours after his harrowing self-amputation, Ralston was airlifted to safety, narrowly escaping the clutches of death. Reflecting on his perilous journey, Ralston acknowledged the precarious balance between life and death. Had he delayed his drastic decision to sever his arm, he might have bled out before help arrived. Conversely, had he hesitated, he would have faced an inevitable fate within the unforgiving embrace of the Slot Canyon. After his daring self-amputation, Aron Ralston's severed arm was carefully retrieved by park rangers. This task required the combined efforts of 13 individuals armed with a hydraulic jack and a winch. The sheer magnitude of the boulder under which his arm lay trapped posed a formidable challenge that underscored the remarkable nature of Ralston's escape. Following its recovery, Ralston's severed arm was respectfully cremated and returned to him. 6 months later, on his 28th birthday, he returned to the Slot Canyon, a poignant pilgrimage to honor his sacrifice for survival, scattering the ashes in a symbolic gesture of closure. The gripping tale of his survival captivated the world's attention, spawning a film adaptation that Ralston attests is remarkably faithful to his real-life ordeal. He found himself thrust into the spotlight, appearing on morning shows and late-night specials, and embarking on press tours, all while maintaining an unwaveringly positive outlook. Despite the physical and emotional toll of his ordeal, Ralston emerged from the experience with a renewed sense of purpose. Today, he is a proud father of 2, undeterred by the challenges posed by his disability. Remarkably, he hasn't let his amputation slow him down, continuing his passion for climbing with undiminished fervor. In 2005, he achieved a remarkable feat, becoming the first person to climb all 59 of Colorado's towering 14ers, even braving the snow and conquering the peaks one-handed. So what would you do if faced with a similar life-or-death situation?